Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Impossible Mowers. In today's video, we're going to be tackling this blade deck and just stripping everything off so we can be ready for the new parts. I don't have any new parts yet, but I figured make a video of just stripping it off and seeing what we're looking at as far as the blade deck goes. So without further ado, stay tuned. In case you guys forgot, this blade deck is from the Pulan that we had pulled out before. Now, this blade deck has a lot of rust and grime on it, covering the spindles, pulleys, and a lot of other things. So we're going to be stripping off all these parts to make sure that everything is salvageable, there's no rust holes, and etc. What we're also going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys tips and tricks of what to do when you're doing a process like what I'm going to be doing in today's video. So make sure you stay tuned. What I have right here in front of me is a spindle. Now, this is a black cover shroud that we're trying to take off so that we can get to this spindle, because this is the only one that still turns, which means it's still a good spindle. As long as the spindle turns, we can lubricate it, get it even turning even more, and that's like 40 bucks saved right there, 30, 40 bucks. So it's also good to check the model number on these, or even just take a picture and kind of match it up to something that you're going to buy, because there's a lot of spindle parts for these Pulans, different sizes, different bolt patterns. You don't want to buy the wrong one. So always just keep that in mind. So what we're going to start off with here is lubricant, a torch, and a torque spit. I do not know what size this torque spit is. It just tells me the what company it is. It doesn't actually give me a number. It looks like a T45. I'm assuming it's a T45, but do not trust me on that. Alrighty, so just making sure you guys can see here. Here we go. Move you guys closer. So there's going to be, I'm assuming, 3 bolts. Yep. We got a bolt over on this side, a bolt right here, and then a bolt on the other side, which I already removed. These bolts are bastards, especially this one. Since it's been in the ground, there's a lot of rust, there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of moisture that's built up into those threads, rusting them out, keeping them solid. So a great way I recommend for you guys to deal with this kind of stuff is douse it in a little bit of fluid. It could be oil, engine oil, used oil, lubricant, WD-40, whatever you want to use. As long as it's something that is a lubricant, it works. You don't want to use water because you could risk cracking something, and we don't want to have that on our hands. So after you spray it, we're going to use our handy dandy torch, and you're going to glaze over it. Not too much. You don't want to melt this. Even if I do melt this though, it's not really a big deal. All this is just a shroud, so that something coming out of the blade deck doesn't come out and hit it. But I mean, even then, I run blade decks that don't even use this. So, but saying that you do want to use this, you don't want to hold that torch too long, but because it's a hard plastic, it shouldn't break that easy. Now after you heat up the bolt, immediately treat it with another batch of cold fluid. This stuff has to be cold, can't be hot. The reason why you do that is because when you heat up the bolt and you immediately expose it to something cold, especially if it's a lubricant like liquid wrench or WD-40 or anything like that, it'll actually shrink the threads very, very, like on a micro scale. And when you shrink them, give it a little ball peen hammer. It'll come right off. Look at that right there. Works almost every time. So like I said before, you want to douse it in fluid first, heat it for only a couple seconds. If this shard wasn't here, I'd actually say more than a couple seconds. Immediately douse it in that cold fluid. Like I said, it could be anything, as long as it's a lubricant. And the bolt should come right out. And because you've cooled it down, you can actually hold it by hand. And there it is. See how right here, that little light rust spot, bottom and top, that is where the lubricant went. It went all the way down to the bottom of the threads, but when we heated it up, we loosened up this part right over here, because it's all pretty rusty around there. Because these lubricants, not all of them are going to be able to get down to the bottom, especially this one, because if you look around the area here, there's a lot of this crumb around it. So it's going to block the lubricant from going down all the way. So when you torch it up and you shrink it, it helps loosen the bolts out. So that's a really good tip for anything that I've run into, at least as far as mowers go. So I'm going to turn the camera again over to this bolt. Right over here. We're going to douse it in liquid. I'm going to see first if this will come loose. I usually don't like to do that trick until I see if it comes loose first. There's just so much crud here. Give it a couple smacks with the hammer. Yeah, nope, that's not coming off. So we start up our torch again. Oh, come on. I think what's happening is it's getting too close to it. That might not have been long enough, but we'll see. Yep, that was long enough. There you go. And you gotta do it kind of quickly. You don't want to wait too long. Get right in there. Hammer it twice. Come on. I might not have heated that long enough. Yeah, no, definitely not. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just keep going back and forth until it shrinks good enough to where you can get it out. Okay. There we go. See how it's really starting to puff up? That's when it starts to shrink, because it's just immediately cooling it down. Look at that. Easy as cake. Work smarter, not harder. And there you go. And because it's a hard plastic, look at that, we didn't melt a single bit. Everything's still there. I mean, we did get a little corner there, but it's still usable. Put that off to the side, along with our bolt. We do not want to use these. Now, I'm just gonna grab this little flathead. I gotta get more shop rags. I just ran out, so I'm just kind of using whatever I have around. Push that stuff around. Okay, so now we have our spindle. So the way you want to take these spindles out is you want to take the pulley off first, because if you try to get something into there, it's just not going to fit all the way. Plus, it's always good to take the pulley off first. Anyways, So what I'm going to do with this pulley is I'm just going to give it a little bit of lubricant. Just a little bit. I don't think we'll have to use that trick on this because it's actually not that rusty. It's actually quite nice for something that we've had. I'm going to guess 19 mil. Nope. 20. Nope. 21. Nope. Big one, huh? So this is a 7/8 socket. We're gonna zip it off with the old DeWalt. Piece of cake. Right, let's see what we're looking at. Oh, that's practically brand new. Look at that. There's not an ounce of rust on this pulley except for a little bit. There's okay, maybe a couple ounces right in between the V-belt where the V-belt goes, but that's actually not bad. You can kind of get to see what was covered up and what was not covered up. So I'm assuming this side was it was in a lot worse condition than this side. But yeah, spins around pretty decently. So now we're going to zip off these 3 bolts here, and we're not going to take the spindle out until the very end. And the reason why is you don't want to have to lift up that blade deck, take the spindle out. You want to get to this small stuff first so that you can just kind of, you know, get to the big stuff later. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter. You could do the spindle. It's not going to hurt anything at all. It's just the way I prefer to do it. Okay, put that away. Grab our extension. With the washer. Very well. Very good. He's coming up pretty good. Alright. 2 for 3. Here we go. Last melon. I'm going to lubricate this because what can happen is I've seen this so many times, and you guys have seen it too on the channel, where we've dug into the Suburban, the little mower. We see a rusty bolt and we just jam into it and then the bolt snaps. What I always like to do is just lubricate it first so you have somewhat of a chance, and then don't impact hard, impact nice and slow. The reason why I did it hard on these is because we've actually sprayed this with lubricant while we were doing the shroud removal. So okay, so that's not coming off. So instead of stripping it, what we're gonna do is just do that same trick we did before. Torch it up. Come on. Just gonna make sure you guys can see this too. Very sorry for this. Okay. Keep that bolt up nice and good. This is pretty cool. Watch this. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, not too much, just a couple. And then jam it hard. I know I said not to before, but now that we've lubricated it, you want to shock it is the key. There you go. I'm telling you guys, works every time. If you don't know about it, use it, because it's gonna save you a lot of money. You don't have to keep scrounging for bolts and stuff, especially if you snap a bolt. You don't have to grab a tapper or a die and just drill into it, or a drill kit to just rescue the bolt. You can just do it right the first time. And we can reuse these bolts, I'm hoping. A little toasty. There we go. So that is how you do it on one side. I'm gonna do it on the other side off camera, because you can see this is very, very labor intensive. We're about 16 minutes in, I could tell. So I'm gonna do the other side, but I'm gonna get back to you guys when we go to do these pulleys, because there's a very special thing you gotta do with these pulleys that not a lot of people tell you about. And I'm gonna share that information with you guys when I get back to do these pulleys, so bear with me. Alrighty guys, I'm back. I actually ended up, look at that, cut them right off, snapped them, but it still came out, which was lucky. But that was just rusted. I even tried to heat treat them, and I even used the socket wrench, and it went bam bam tunk, came right off, snapped off all three of them. So there was nothing I could do about that. They're just way too gone, way too rusty. But now I'm gonna show you guys something that a lot of DIYers, a lot of people on YouTube, they tell you to do, and it's actually not a good thing to do. And here's what it is. A lot of people tend to tell you, and I've seen them actually do it on YouTube, is they'll tell you instead of taking off the two pulleys, you can take off the whole assembly at once. Which sounds ideal, and sometimes it works. But the reason why it's bad is because these pulleys, see them, hope you guys can see them. These pulleys have these little adjustments on them. I'll show you if I can get around here. At least with these blade decks, they do. You can see these little pockets. What you can do is you can take off the pulley and actually adjust the whole setup left or right depending on what your setup is. And the reason why it's bad to take out everything at once is you can lose that adjustment, and then you put everything back and it works, but the blades aren't spinning the way they should be. One of them might be more delayed than the other, or one of them might not even spin because there's not enough tension. So the reason why you want to take off your pulleys first is so that you could see what setting these are on, mark them, then take off your set. A lot of people don't tell you that because a lot of modern day mowers decks, they don't have this feature, but some of them still do. For reference, the Cub Cadet still has that feature of adjustment, and I think the Murrays do too. But with these old decks, especially since this is a 90s, 90s where they were trying to make that new change, a new, I don't know how to say it, but something to adapt to, something to make it easier. And one of their ways was to adjust the pulleys. Now, this has been around for a long time. Even, I think you could do the same thing on a push mower, actually. But they've had that feature for a long time. But what's different about these is you have these little springs right here. And basically, these springs, they sit pretty far. They actually sit something like that. And they keep the tension to this little lever. And this lever is what holds your belt together. And if you adjust this the wrong way, this lever might be ending up far here than it should be, or too close to the pulley and start rubbing. So remember, no matter what blade deck you have, always double check to see if it has these little divots, because if it does, then that means they're adjustable, and you always want to check to see what adjustment they're on so that you can go back to that same adjustment. The only reason you'd want to move these adjustments is if you were having another attachment, like a snow blower, and you wanted to move these sideways so that the blower belt could work its way through from one end of the mower to the other without hitting these pulleys. But it's just a word to the wise to you guys out there. I'll show you what I mean right now, but always take off the pulleys first, check and mark what position they're on, or take a picture of it, which is what I'm gonna have to do since I'm actually gonna wire brush this whole deck and repaint it. I'm just gonna take a picture of that position and then bring it back to what it was factory. So not a lot of people know that. And I figured I'd just share it with you guys because it is a really important step I'm gonna get new pulleys just because they're loud. But I might keep them on. I don't know. It's in the air. Let's see, this is my miscellaneous stuff. Ah, that is lucky. Fits one of them. Alrighty, so let me set my camera down so you guys aren't seeing a bunch of stuff moving around here. You can kind of get a main focus. Alrighty. I did lubricate these, so this should come out pretty good. Yep, came right off. Beautiful. Alrighty. Okay, I can see this one does not have an adjustment. This side doesn't, but this side does. Alright. I'm going to take that off too. Hope it's the same size. Okay. I did already take my picture, so I know exactly where everything goes. And I'm going to snap another picture when I take this pulley off, just so I'm reassuring myself. This one's going to be troublesome because it's a longer... It's an extension part, but... Oh, it does fit. God damn. Alright, I don't know what just happened. There we go. Okay, here we go. So you see what I mean around here? You can adjust it any way you want. Bring the camera forward so you can see what I'm doing. You can adjust it. So if you have like a snowblower or something like that, and you want to run it across the blade deck here, you'd want to move this pulley all the way over here so that the blade deck, not the blade deck, the belt to that blower could go right through here, in here. And it basically, when you're mowing a lawn, you want as much tension as you can, but not too much, because if it's too much tension, you can't shut the blade deck off, but if it's too little, it's not going to operate the same. So you got to find the right balance. For me, I got lucky. Mine's set right here at the very end, so that's really easy to remember. It's set right there. But for some of you guys, it might be set like right there or right there, and you got to mark that. And a lot of people don't tell you that, and I don't know why. I think they just find it easier to take them off and put them on because they keep the adjustment on it. But it's not safe. It's a not safe gamble, because if you strip or break one of these bolts and you have to take this apart bit by bit, you got to know exactly where that position is for that pulley. A lot of stuff can go wrong mowing a lawn if you don't have the adjustments done right. So I figured I'd just show you guys that. It's a good tip to have, you know. Let's see if I can get a good camera angle here. Good Lord. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to figure out why this pulley is not coming off. If I can get this camera adjusted, god darn. Okay. Alright, I have a feeling... Oh, hold on. Oh wow, it's quite nifty. It's like the whole unit comes off at once. Well, not the whole unit, but that part of it. Alright. Gotta take that off. So we're going to use the persuader. Oh! My bad. Sorry about that. I'm just going to set this off to the side here, where I should have put it in the first place. Okay. Tell you what, guys, when you're on a budget, it definitely shows. Okay, so Voila. See all that stuff, all that corrosion. Actually, that looks like gasket material almost. I don't know. Still gonna save it. This should come right off. Yep, there we go. That comes off. All these parts you want to save, and you want to put them in the right order too. You don't want to screw that up. I guess it's just this one bolt here left. You probably won't be able to see it. Yep, that's not the right size. Okay. Ah, see, I got a nut stuck in there. Okay, well that's going to be a problem later. I'll just use this. Trying to find my... See that bolt stuck right in there. I'm trying to find my pliers or something. So, okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on getting this unstuck, unbolt the rest of that, and then I'll get back to you guys when we get to the casters, so bear with me. Alrighty guys, we're back. Look at that. Completely empty. Looking good. So actually, before we take these casters off, I forgot. Save this for the end. Right here. Take these spindles off. So we're just going to raise the deck a bit. And it should come right off. Theoretically. So, see what happens here. Lifting. Alrighty. Well, we're gonna need a new one of these. That is gone. Look at that. Junk. I'm gonna need a tetanus shot after this. God damn. Yep, there's one of the snap bolts right there. Good lord. Yeah. Holy moly. What else wants to rot off? That actually spins quite nice. I might just use that. You know what? I think I will. I'm gonna take off this blade deck, or this, Jesus, this blade. Bleh. Of course I already took off the deck. Okay. I think this is a 15 mil. Yep, it's a 15 mil. We're gonna lube this up because if we screw this up, that's not gonna be very cool. Huh. It's skipping, so that means it's the wrong one. So I'm gonna use 14 mil, just a step down. Ah, it's actually spinning the spindle while I'm doing it, so I'm gonna grab my pliers, plier that up. This is a weird combo. Yeah, okay. That is not coming off. I think that may have broke. May have stripped it, which is all right. Stuff happens. Need a new blade anyways. This one's actually really bent. Yep. Well, you know what? That's okay with me. That's junk now, unfortunately, but stuff happens. That's right, I forgot about this. Okay, so over here, got 2 bolts. We just gonna zip those off. Good old zip zip. I already gave these a pre-lube about an hour ago, so they should be ready. Just let's see. So that's a 13 millimeter that barely fit. We're gonna try 12. See if that puppy goes in there. Nope. All right. Guess it's 13. Just like to double check. Make sure I'm putting the right socket on the right nut. Alrighty. I'm assuming with these bolts, it's the classic, you gotta go under the blade deck and hold one of those 2 bolts with a monkey wrench. So, I'm gonna save that for later, probably do that off camera. But, I'm gonna get down to the real reason why we're here. Get these casters off. I don't know where that went, that just kind of blasted right off. Alright, so, I'll position my camera here. Try to at least. Good lord. Okay, I position this up. Gonna have 2 bolts here. I guess one of them came off, but save that. Caster number 1. And these are good casters too, so we're saving them for sure. Good lord. Oh, that'll do it. Damn nut was stuck right in there. Jesus. This one's actually, that's weird. This one's got like a mount on the side. See right there. This one's just right on the flat part of the deck. So I'm going to put this one off to the other side so we don't confuse the two. Yep, take those off later. Save these nuts because they're still good. Alrighty, off to the other set of casters. Come out. There we go. Rolled right off. See right there. That's another side one. These are the other ones. Okay. See if we can't get into this. Very fun. Nope. Okay. A very rare occasion. But this is where we pull out very long extension kits. And we're gonna go extension socket. Voila. All right. One potato. Two potato. Alrighty. All we gotta do now is just reach under the blade deck and get the other parts of the bolt out and pop it out. Look at that. All taken apart. She's gonna be ready for spray paint in no time. Well, guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. I just figured I'd post this out just to keep you guys up to date. I would do a video on us painting it and sanding it down, but I don't have the case for my GoPro, and I don't want to get that after spray on the lens, because that is not good. If you get that stuff on the lens of your GoPro or any camera at all, it's just not a good show. So I'm gonna have to do that off camera, but I can at least show you guys the after effect when we get there. So yeah. Also, Chuck is going to be done very soon. We're getting the trans welded pretty soon here. Just been pretty busy with other stuff. So hopefully in the future we're going to be seeing him on the road before the mudding season, and this guy on the road before mudding season, and so far with the Suburban too. That Husqvarna is going to be leaving us this week or next week. Customers coming to pick it up, so very happy about that. And that's pretty much it, guys. So like I said, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share this channel with your friends and family. I really appreciate the stuff that you guys have been doing. Really helps out the channel. You know, small channels like this, each subscriber counts. You know, we're trying to get up to that 500 and above point. So, like I said, very grateful for what you guys do. And I hope you guys stay safe, and catch you guys next time.